Welcome to Home Hues, curated homes, timeless design, and stories worth slowing down for. Sean believes a house should never feel frozen in time. Nothing here is meant to stay perfectly still. Pictures lean, books are left half-read, and flowers spill across every surface. There's energy in the chaos, a feeling that the house is alive, constantly shifting, constantly being lived in. This isn't about perfection or careful design. It's about warmth, movement, and letting things breathe. 6 years ago, Sean and his partner Dan were searching for a place that felt like home. After visiting several houses, they found this small, slightly scruffy cottage tucked into the Mendip Hills of Somerset. It needed the most work, but for Sean, it was love at first sight. Something about it sparked his imagination in a way no other place had. What drew them in wasn't a picture-perfect countryside fantasy, but something more real. This was a working landscape with history in its walls. The cottage began as a simple laborer's home, animals downstairs, a single bedroom upstairs. Over centuries, it slowly grew, adding rooms, a kitchen, even becoming the village dairy for a time. Every extension told a story. When they bought it, much of that story was hidden. Modern changes had covered original features and softened its character, but nothing was truly lost. It was all waiting to be uncovered. And as they stripped things back, the house began to reveal itself again. Outside, the garden posed its own challenge. Wedged between two lanes, shaded by towering trees, and edged with a ditch, it refused to follow rules. So Sean didn't fight it. He let it be wild. The garden became a living collage of favorite plants, growing where they wanted, changing with the light. Unplanned, uncontrolled, completely alive. This free-spirited approach runs through everything, inspired by places where creativity was allowed to wander, where nature and design spill into each other. Sean wanted to create that same quiet magic here. That sense of care even extends into the village traditions. At Christmas, ribbons and streamers leave the cottage to decorate apple trees in a centuries-old wassailing ritual, a celebration meant to bless the land and invite abundance. For Sean, every small act in this house matters. Painting a wall, hanging decorations, rearranging a room. It's all done with intention, as if the house itself can feel it. Because this isn't just a place to live, it's something to protect, to nurture, almost like giving the house a hug. From the street, this house gives almost nothing away. Just a quiet brick wall, a small black gate, and passing buses rushing by. But the moment that gate closes behind you, the outside world disappears, and the house reveals its true nature. Inside, it feels like stepping into another realm. The garden unfolds first, lush and theatrical, layered with unexpected details. A long pergola glows with lanterns, rattan sofas invite you to linger, and the sound of water from an old Italian fountain gently blocks out the city noise. There's even a fireplace outdoors, turning the garden into a place meant for gathering, storytelling, and winter evenings that stretch long into the night. At the far end of the garden stands a graceful Georgian house, elegant, calm, and quietly confident. It doesn't shout, it waits. And once inside, it becomes clear this is not a minimalist home. This is a house filled to the edges with memory. When the owners first found it decades ago, the interiors were stark and white, almost empty. They tried to live that way, believing that simplicity was what a refined London home should look like. That experiment lasted less than a week. Slowly, the walls filled, and then overflowed, with objects collected over a lifetime. Every room tells a story. Walls are layered with art, antique fragments, old clock faces, masks, dolls, puppets, and shelves stacked deep with books. Nothing feels staged, nothing feels curated for effect. It's accumulation, not decoration, the visible record of a life lived fully inside these rooms. Despite the abundance, the house never feels cold or museum-like. Quite the opposite. It feels deeply human, painted by hand, arranged instinctively, and shaped by emotion rather than rules. The house reflects the people who lived here together. Objects were never bought to impress, but to rescue, to remember, to give a sense of belonging. The study, tucked away in green tones, once echoed with voices, learning, teaching, and practicing words. Other rooms were made for conversation, for dinners that stretched late, for friends filling the space with laughter. This is a house designed for presence, not perfection. After loss entered the story, the house did not freeze in time. Instead, it expanded outward again, back into the garden, with the addition of the pergola, a place created for gathering, remembrance, and shared meals. Even grief here became something communal, something held by walls and open air. At Christmas, the house comes fully alive. Decorations stay up longer than tradition allows. A towering tree anchors the season. The kitchen fills with cooking, and the garden becomes part of the celebration. The house doesn't just host Christmas, it embraces it. This isn't a house trying to impress anyone. It's a house that remembers, a house that holds love, loss, laughter, and time, all at once. And once inside, it's very hard to imagine ever wanting to leave. This is the home of Amanda Brooks, a house shaped not by trends, but by instinct. From the moment you step inside, you can feel it, a confidence in taste that doesn't try too hard, yet somehow feels perfectly resolved. Every room reflects a life tuned to noticing beauty early, before it becomes obvious to everyone else. After years in fast-paced New York, Amanda and her family settled into the honey-colored countryside of the Cotswolds. What began as a temporary escape slowly turned into something permanent. Here, surrounded by old houses, changing seasons, and quiet routines, her creative energy found a new rhythm, slower, deeper, more intentional. Their home at Fairgreen Farm already carried layers of history. Generations of family, friends, and visitors had left their mark, creating a soft patchwork of styles and stories. Instead of stripping it back, Amanda chose to work with what was already there. Old wallpaper stayed, well-worn sofas remained. What once felt tired slowly revealed its charm. Her own layer was added gently, American comfort woven into English tradition. More bookshelves, thoughtful seating, family heirlooms, art, and ceramics collected over time. Nothing dominates, everything belongs. At Christmas, the house becomes a celebration of memory and joy. Decorations aren't about perfect taste, they're about delight. Handmade glass ornaments fill bowls and trees. Santas line windowsills. Quilted stockings stretch across the fireplace. There's humor here too, a mechanical fox by the tree and mushrooms glowing red on an outdoor fur like something from a fairy tale. Inside, holly spills across tables and hand-blown fruit ornaments shimmer softly in the light. Outside, the garden glows with colored lights, cushions, and firelight, an extension of the house itself, designed to be shared, even in winter. The beauty of this home isn't just how it looks, it's how it feels. Comfortable, nostalgic, personal, a place where nothing is too precious to use and everything has a story. The house isn't frozen in time, it evolves gently, season by season, year by year. Because sometimes creating a home isn't about changing everything, it's about listening to what's already there and letting your own story settle in. Thank you for spending time with Home Hues. Like, subscribe, and come back for more spaces that feel like home.